Hello, geometry students. Mr. Zacek here, back better than ever in Unit 3, Lesson 5-2. And in this lesson, we're going to be looking at some more advanced type of constructions and kind of taking some of the concepts that we learned in the last lesson and applying them in some kind of more creative ways. So, excuse me, construct an altitude from B to AC. So the first thing that we want to recognize is, with our definition of an altitude, is that an altitude is going to be drawn from a vertex perpendicular to the opposite side. So essentially what we're doing here is we're going to construct a perpendicular line from B through AC. And the way we do that is we put our compass point at B, and we have to open it up so that it hits this other side at two places. So that looks like that would work here. Okay, and now from those 2 points of intersection, we come down, and you can adjust the compass or you can kind of leave it the same way here. I'm going to leave it at the same setting. And I'm going to come over here to this point, and I'm going to swing the other side of this little half bisector. And now we're going to take our straight edge and we're going to connect those 2 points. So we're going to come from point B down through here. And what I'm getting is, you see how mine is off a little bit? That's due to the thickness of my pencil that I have here on my compass and a little bit of inaccuracy with my placement there. But we've just created the altitude, okay, which forms a right angle there in a triangle. So that's a type of construction that we could do. We take what we did last time, a perpendicular from a point not on a line, the point in this case is B, and we follow those construction steps. All right, now, next one up, we're going to construct a square the length of S. Okay. So here's how I'm going to do this construction. I'm going to start off down here in this space, and I'm going to draw a ray of a certain length. Okay, let me get a little different color. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over with my compass, and I'm going to measure the length of S. So again, we always measure in constructions from point to pencil. Okay, and so I'm going to come up and I'm going to measure that length right there. Okay, now I'm going to bring my compass back over here, and I'm going to draw this out so that I have kind of 2 lengths of S here on the side. So 1, then we come over and we have 2. All right, so what do we need to know to do a square? Well, a square is all the sides are the same and they form 4 right angles. So what we're going to do at this point is I need to draw a perpendicular line through this point, and this is our one that we just did. It's perpendicular through the point on the line. I've created this as a midpoint, so what I'm going to do is open it up a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to just a little bit more. I'm going to come up, okay, here, then I'll come over to the other side, put our compass point down on here, and we'll come up. All right, and now I'm going to take a straight edge, and I'm going to bring it down through to that point. So let's see if I can get that actually lined up. There we go, that looks nice. So we've just created a right angle. Okay, now I've adjusted my compass setting, so I need to go back over here and I need to figure out what the length here of this side is again. So let me just move that down so I'm here. Get back to the color blue. Okay, all right, now I've got that compass setting there. So what I need to do is bring this back down. So all the sides are the same on a square. So I'm going to bring the compass down here, and I'm going to come up here, and now what have we got? Okay, it's got to go through that point there. And then I'm going to bring my compass over here, since all the sides are the same length. And it's got to be somewhere along that arc there. And then the last little compass thing is I'm going to bring my compass point up here. We're going to bring it down, and it's got to go through there. So we just found our other vertex with that intersection point right here. So now once you have that vertex, now it's a matter of taking your straight edge and just connecting those points. So this edge, we're going to come up to here. Okay, and then we're going to come across, and obviously you would be doing this with a straight edge. I'm just kind of using my straight edge tool, which is a little bit off on that one. Okay, and so we just constructed a square. All right, so I would encourage you to kind of summarize those steps. First thing you want to do is double that length, okay? And then now you've got that midpoint down here. This point was the midpoint, okay? And then once you have that, you do your kind of half of a perpendicular bisector. That gets us our one side. And then we just had 3 arcs to swing that were the length of the side, which gives us our square. 4 congruent sides, 4 right angles. Okay, moving on. All right, construct a line L, construct a segment of length C that is perpendicular to L. Okay, a couple ways that we could do this. So let's start off and let's just kind of get ourselves some line here, and we'll call that line L. And we need a line that's perpendicular, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a point on here, and I need to make it perpendicular to that point. So how do we do that? Well, we take our compass, and we put our compass point at this point. We open it up, and we swing an arc of any size. Again, the key is it just has to hit on both sides. We move our compass point out to this here. Now we have to open it up a little bit. We need to be more than halfway. So we're going to swing an arc up top, come over to the other side, swing an arc over here. Okay. And then, so now it's got to go through that point. So the segment, though, has to be the length of C. So we're going to come over here, and with our straight edge, we're going to put this segment in here. But now the key is, at this point, it says that it has to be the length C. So I'm going to come over, and I'm going to measure how open C is. So we'll come down right there. Okay. I'll bring that back over here, and I'll have to, that's the segment has to stop there. So what I would do is with my pencil, I would take an eraser. Let me see if I can adjust this one here like an eraser down there. And we've got ourselves a perpendicular segment to line L that is the length of C. All right. So again, we're just using that kind of base construction from the previous lesson and applying it here by measuring that length out specifically. Okay, construct a rectangle with base B and height A. So this one is going to be a lot like the square one. I'm going to start off down here, and I'm going to just draw a long segment. And that segment, I'm going to now come and measure the length of B. And let's see if I've got my compass right here. Got to close it down just a touch. Okay, that's the length of B. All right, so I'm going to bring that over to this segment, and I'm going to double it. So I'm going to make this here and here. And what have we done is, what have I done in doing that? I've made this point right here the midpoint. And so what we can do now is if we go back over to one side and open up our compass more, and we'll go just up here, And then we'll come over here and we'll do that same compass setting. We'll come up here. Okay, now what have we done? Well, we've got ourselves a perpendicular line. That's part of the... Okay, just pause a minute there with the announcements. So where we're at here now is taking our straight edge and coming down through here. Okay, now what have we done? Well, we've created a perpendicular. So the rectangle is perpendicular. Now, what's different about this than a square is I have this other length over here, A. Let me get a different color. Let's do green. So A is, we got to measure that opening here. So I put my compass point on one side and I open it up. And I want to show that measurement over here. So when your compass is here, make sure you swing that little arc to show that measurement. Okay, now we're going to go up a length of A, and I'm going to come over here and I want to go up the length of A over here as well. But remember, I want it to be, I want the other side to be a length of B. So let's measure this one. I'll get a little red color here. So I'm going to come back now and re-measure B. Get a nice setting there. Okay, so there's B. And now when I bring my compass over with that setting, I'm going to go from this point over here to this intersection over here, because this side has to be a length of B. And so now I've got my final vertice for the rectangle. So it's that intersection point. It's this point, and at this point it's just a matter of taking the straight edge and connecting all four of those points. So we come here, go up to that side, and then we connect over, and there we have a rectangle with sides A and B. Okay, we've got one more, I'll do 5 and then just talk about 6. Construct a rectangle with side length A and diagonal length B. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we can do that one, but it'll start off in the same way where we just kind of get some ray here or segment. And now I'm going to begin this one by measuring A. And the reason is because our side is the length of A. So we're going to start with the side. So we bring our compass down here, open it up. I'm going to show this little arc swing because I want to, it's part of showing our work here that we've measured that. Okay, then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to put my compass here, and we've got 1 and 2. So what have we done? Well, we have put ourselves with this compass there. So now I'm going to open it up a little more than halfway. I want to get that perpendicular line here, come over to the other side, and maybe it won't make such a big arc here. All right, so we've got ourselves a perpendicular line at that point. Okay. Now, what we know is that one of the sides is A, and now the diagonal length is going to be B. So here is how we can go about doing that. I will get a different color here, and I'm going to measure the opening of B. So let's swing this compass down here. Okay, so we measure B, just a little bit more. All right, there's B. Okay, so in this side, if I swing down here, I'm going to just swing this arc over here, and then I'm going to come over to this point here, and we're going to swing this arc along here. Come on, there we go. All right, now here's the key. That new point of intersection right here has to be where that vertex is. So, but this side down here was the length of A. And what do we know about a rectangle? Well, we know opposite sides are congruent. So in order to get the remaining side, I need to go back and set my compass to the length of A. Okay, down here. All right, and then we're going to bring it over. And now this opposite side also has to be the length of A. Well, we know it has to touch here and where our green arc is. So there. And now we've got our points to connect. So I'm going to go from here up to that intersection point. Looks like I went a little too far. And then to that intersection point. And so we've created a rectangle that has a side length of A, and here's the other part, we could draw it in, and the diagonal is going to be length B. Those are the two diagonals that we see in that picture. Okay? All right, construct a quadrilateral with a pair of opposite parallel sides of length C. Well, you could do that a bunch of ways, but one of the ways you could basically just make a square. Right, so that's really just doing a square construction again, which we've already done. So I'm not going to do that one again. All right, so we've got some tricky ones here that require us to really think, and part of the challenge now too is learning the properties of these quadrilaterals. And as we get more familiar with that, some of these connections we'll make. But really, when we're doing constructions, we got to think creatively. And so please ask and keep on asking as you're working through this. All right, good luck.